Is your Citroen C1 using oil? It could be that your Citroen C1 PCV valve is blocked or stuck. You might ask, what is a PCV valve? If you stay tuned, I'll give you an overview and show you how to clean your PCV valve. When your engine is running, and especially when it's under load, like accelerating or climbing a hill, the pressures inside the combustion chamber are extremely high. Some of that pressure and some of the combustion products find their way down past the piston rings and into the crankcase, which is where the oil is stored for the engine, in the sump. That pressure needs venting. That's where the PCV valve comes in. PCV stands for positive crankcase ventilation. What the PCV valve does is utilises the vacuum inside the inlet manifold to allow the engine to suck excess fumes, unburnt fuel, combustion products out of the crankcase and back into the combustion chamber to be reburnt and expelled through the exhaust system. If the valve isn't working properly, or the valve becomes partially blocked, then some of the blocked PCV valve symptoms that you can get are increased oil consumption, oil leaks, a loss of performance, rough running, and a whole host of other nasties. These 1 litre engines seem to be particularly prone to gumming up their PCV valve, so let me show you how to take it out, how to clean it. The PCV valve itself is in here at the top of the engine, mounted into the cam cover right next to the oil fill cap. It isn't absolutely necessary, but it does make my life a lot easier to get at the PCV valve if you remove the air filter assembly and this pipe here. Also, release the accelerator cable from this clip. You can do this quite easily with your fingers. It's only a light clip. Squeeze here and then push the clip and this foam piece back along this pipe, and then pull this pipe away. Move the vent pipe out of the way over here, and then to remove the valve, simply get hold, waggle it and pull it out. The valve itself consists of a small disc inside this chamber with a spring that allows air to flow that way but not that way. Thus, this pipe, which leads to the inlet manifold, sucks crankcase vapours from the top of the engine round the camshaft chamber into the inlet manifold. If you clean off this orange portion, you can test the valve quite easily by blowing, and then if you attempt to suck, it should shut the valve. Clean the valve by the simple expedient of spraying carburetor cleaner into both ends and shaking it out. What you didn't see then was I sprayed out a load of dirt that came out with the spray. If you suspect that the valve is gummed up, be generous with your cleaner. Shake the valve out and just put it to one side and allow it to dry. Make sure that there's no blockage of sludge or anything inside the top of the cam chamber here by just pushing a piece of wire in and making sure it's free. If you point the wire slightly downwards, it'll go all the way into the cam chamber quite easily, and make sure it's not pulling out any sludge. If it is, then an engine oil flush is called for, along with more frequent oil changes. Also check that the PCV breather pipe is not blocked by pushing your wire along that down into the manifold, and make sure when you pull it out that it's not bringing any sludge with it. You could spray a small amount of cleaner in there, but do only make sure it's a small amount, because that will get into the inlet manifold and will make the engine hard to start. To put the valve back, apply a light smear of petroleum jelly around the thicker end of the valve and simply push it back into place from where it came. Push it firmly, bring the breather pipe back into place, push it over the end and bring the clip back up into place, and return the airbox. I have done a more detailed video on how to remove the airbox and also change the air filter. I'll link to that in the description. I suggest cleaning the PCV valve every second oil change. If you find that it's excessively bunged up, then just replace it. They're cheap and easy to do, and if you keep it clean, hopefully you'll keep your oil consumption down to a minimum, and overall your engine will run better, stay cleaner internally, sail straight through the MOT emissions tests. If you got value from this video, please consider supporting the channel, and I shall see you next time.